Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission of the mainline Halo video games in chronological order, discussing our experiences and milking the teats of lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts
like
on the show, email
like
us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Evolved on Patreon. For everything Evolved has to offer, visit evolvedhalo.com. This episode, we're debriefing the Pelican Down mission from Halo Infinite. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
Imagine Esheram, but with a Mickey Mouse voice. It would be way scarier, I think.
I wish I could tell you it was difficult, but it wasn't. There is a Mickey Mouse emulator thing online. You should really check that out and put in some of his dialogue. It's very good.
I mean, I'm sure you could mod it to do that pretty easily.
Not as quite as impactful, but also hilarious. Last mission was the Spire. The Harbinger escaped, and a phallic spire emerged from the depths of the ring nearby. Chief and the weapon plan to penetrate the freshly erected Forerunner structure, but are met with banished resistance at its base. Once inside, their euphoria is interrupted by a curious orb named Adjutant Resolution. The installation submonitor leads them towards the Reformation controls, but then tries to kill them after he learns they're not going to finish the job. Now, in Pelican Down, our heroic trio is reunited after a nifty escape from the Spire, but their Pelican is quickly shot down in transit to the Command Spire. Chief must destroy a series of banished AA guns in order to continue the mission and stop the Reformation. Is it a Reformation or Reformation?
Reformation. The Reformation has begun.
Reformation. Date of the game is May 28th, 2560. I need to start here because apparently we have a Mauler Mangler problem.
I've seen the complaints, but I haven't said anything because I thought it would be funny if we continued to call it the Mauler.
We've got a little bit of an issue and our listeners have spoken. They're so close. Why would they name these guns so close together? Come on.
I was just calling it that to make them mad at this point.
It's like Sauron and Saruman. Like, come on. Just name them a little bit more different. So, which one is in this game? Is it the Mangler?
It's the Mangler,
It's the Mangler. Okay. The Maulers from Halo 2.
And that's like the little mini shotgun thing, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. The Mangler. We apologize to listeners. If we say Mauler, we mean Mangler.
Perfect.
It's honest mistake.
It's been funny to troll them. It's been good.
Oh, so you've been doing it on purpose now.
Oh yeah. I saw the complaints like months ago, but I haven't changed it or brought it up.
That's amazing. All right, David, why don't you take us through this cutscene? So I I guess I cut you off of the cutscene last time because like from the mission prompts and everything, like as soon as we kill Adjutant Resolution. And there's a little tiny bit of dialogue. Then that's when it says mission complete, and then Pelican Down starts. So let's start from the jump.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Obviously, so Chief jumps off the Spire after taking it out of the network. You get an awesome little cutscene here of just like Chief kind of free diving, and like the Pelican's coming, the Halo music playing. It's beautiful. The Pelican kind of comes down, opens up its kind of bay. All the shit flies out, which is so stupid. We do not have that shit tied down. But anyway, so there goes all your guns, all your food, just flying out of the Pelican. It just kind of levels off, and in the background, through the doors, you can see like the Spire crashing down. And it's pretty cool.
Does it crash? There's like an explosion, but does it? Like I was curious what that does.
It looks like it just sits back into the ground, like aggressively. I don't know. It doesn't blow up. I don't think.
Because you can go back to it, right?
You can go back to it, exactly. Yeah. It's there still. Then the weapon kind of talks to you about like what's going on, and she's like, this is the Command Spire. This is a specific one. You have the pilot freaking out again. There's a good interaction between the weapon here. Of like, he's like, "Is everything trying to kill you?" And she's like, "It seems like it is." It's like, "Oh wait, you're being sarcastic." I like it. He's like, "He's fun. I like him." It's good bonding. Mm-hmm. And then you have Moni Pilot being Moni Pilot moment. And we've kind of seen this. I think this was showcased. This sequence right here with the ship getting shot down by AA guns, the pilot freaking out. I think this is cool, except for the fact that like the Pelican gets shot directly twice, directly, and it's fine. He crashes it into the ground. It is smashed to fuck up. The screen goes black, and it wakes up with the pilot kind of being all groggy and stuff. Chief is behind him. He's fine. Like all crashes, Chief's totally fine. And then you have the pilot freaking out at Chief, kind of giving out. I wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be gone. He's really sad that his Pelican got shot down. It kind of really, I kind of liked this bit. I liked that it was kind of building up of him being a whiny moany person. And then it kind of overflows here, and he actually confronts Chief and shouts at him and stuff. And now this is cool because we've never seen anyone do this. So like, I wish they kind of doubled down on this a little bit, but it was good. And Chief was just not interested at all, which is a little bit disappointing. He's just like, no, whatever, walk off. We're doing this way here. He's like, I saw condors. Let me go get him. And Chief's like, no. And I was like, just let the dude. And I don't know why this dude is asking for Chief's permission either. I thought like,
just do it.
Because of the reveal that happens later, I'm like, when you just fucking do it, you're not like part of this. You can just leave. So anyway, you just kind of leave the pilot behind, and you go out into the world. And it's kind of frustrating because there's no mention of fixing this Pelican. It's like, we're going to get a Condor and get a slip drive and get out of here, which makes sense. It's fine. And then I'll talk a little bit later on when this mission ends that how much I don't like that the Pelican just takes off, and that's it.
Well, you can see it because you essentially get out of it and you can look at the Pelican, and it's doing fine. There's not smoking or anything. It's
even though it was shot twice and it crashed,
right,
like the Pelican does. It's just totally fine.
Yeah. This is the 2020 demo.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Come to love, and there's actually there's an Easter egg in here somewhere. I think I do have it in the notes. So there's an homage to that.
To the actual demo?
Well, yeah, there's a little Craig thing.
Oh, a Craig thing. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, a little bit of a Craig thing.
What's the Craig thing in here? I don't see it in Hello Kitty.
It's over on I'm going to start on the east, but it's on the west gun. There is like that big elevator that you go up. And before you go up, there is kind of some structures that are like half buried in the ground to the right.
I know them, yeah.
You go down in one of those structures, there is a inside of it on the wall is a picture of the Craig face.
Oh, cool! I never noticed that. That's cool.
You can go hunt her down.
The origins, ground zero.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I will start here, and I want to talk to. This is a cool area to explore. They've given us this nice little playground. Again, it made sense, now in retrospect, for the demo to be here because like the story is pretty contained here. You can't fast travel anywhere. So now that you have been shot down, we've lost that ability. So now, if you wanted to go back and get some Spartan cores or go back to the other open world areas, you can't. You have to do this stuff here. And you do have a number of tasks that as we have in the other open world areas. So this is considered, or we're considering it the third open world area. And there is one Mjolnir armory. There are 3 banished audio logs, which we'll cover briefly. There are 5 UNSC audio logs, which we'll cover briefly. And there are 5 Spartan cores, which we may or may not point out during this walkthrough. So additional stuff to power up your last mission, let's see, a couple missions ago, we got our final upgrade. So now we have everything that we have throughout the rest of the game from an equipment standpoint. So now you do get a chance to get a couple more cores to power those up. But before you do, we have to escape this chunk of land. And Chris, I'm going to throw it to you just to describe what we have here. It's a neat little space.
Yeah, so obviously because there are 3 huge AA guns, this little chunk of land is a huge wreck. Like, there are a bunch of wrecked UNSC ships around here, so there's a lot of little nooks and crannies that you can go through. It's very interesting. It obviously gives you it gives you a reason of why you have access to all the UNSC gear while you're here. So it's like, true. Hey, the ship is crashed. Let me salvage and see if I can find anything.
I love that. It's so well laid out. Like, there's just so many weapons kicking around, which is good because, like, there's no fob, so you can't generate your weapons, but there's so many other weapons just scattered around there. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's an interesting setting for a little like
So cool.
sub story like this. Like you literally boots on the ground, you get to run around. It feels very Halo, where you know
Yeah.
you lose all of the open world stuff. You're just on this big chunk of land, and you get to run around and just do the regular, run and gun, destroy the towers. It's kind of like that mission in Reach, where you just
Yeah, this
have
level,
that big chunk.
I like that this is so self-contained. You can call it a level. You can call it a mission. Like this is
Yeah.
just like a level in Halo, and it's perfect. Nice little 3 little AA guns you got to take out. Each one is slightly different. You got loads of encounters. There's Marines and stuff like that. Weapons everywhere. It's fun. It's super fun. I love it.
And there are a couple vehicles, right? Like there's some ghosts.
There's
Is
some
there a
ghosts and
warthog in
warhogs
here
kicking around.
somewhere?
Yep.
I know there's at
There
least a
is.
ghost. You
There's
can't
ghosts
fly
and
yet.
warhogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a warthog. That's right. Yeah. So you can tool around a little bit. No tanks or anything like that. But yeah, no, it's a fun spot. And again, it's the demo, which is also cool to explore. And I remember when we saw the demo, we were like, oh, I wonder if you can explore here, here, and here, and all that sort of stuff. You can't necessarily do all those things that we'd hoped for in this chunk of land, but a lot of those things you can find elsewhere. Where there's like little dungeons you can climb in and go have some cool encounters on the map elsewhere. But regardless, which way did you guys go? I'm going to take us from the east to the north to the west. Do you guys have a pattern that you've done in to do these AA guns? Because the dialogue that we get is all the same order, no matter which one you do, but the encounters are obviously different. David,
So
do you have a way?
started,
Oh yeah, go ahead, Krista.
I started on the far right, and I worked my way from there.
That's what I did.
Okay, cool.
David?
The far right. That feels so weird. I started immediately. I used to always go to the one straight in front of me, like the Craig demo. That's the one I've almost always done first. Now today when I was replaying it, I made a deliberate, conscious effort to not go to that one first. I don't know. Maybe just because I'm simple and I'm like me go forwards, and that's kind of what I did. But like, I mean, the very first time I played it, I also spent a ton of time exploring because I was just like, I must find everything. There must be audio logs. There must be weapons here. Like I must know it all. So I spent a ton of time in the graveyard just going through the ships looking for stuff, which is cool because there's loads of rocket launchers and there are Spartan cores and stuff to find in here. So I like that and audio logs, which is pretty fun. So today I think I did the east one, the one that doesn't have a lift but has Marines around it near it. I think I don't remember which one is which. That's where I started today.
You know what I didn't list? Yeah, so we'll start in the east. There are propaganda towers too.
There was a few.
I want to say there's 4.
Is there 4? Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah, I think there's 4. And those are fun. Actually, one of them starts yelling at you right away, right when you get off, which is fun. So I went east, and on the east was the one with the hunters. So I guess right or east. But so yeah, go whichever way you want, but we'll take you this way. So I went over to the right, and it's fun to just have the task of eliminate the banished gun batteries, as they call them, in order to escape. Like I said, you can't fast travel or anything like that. So I went to the east, and there's these 2 hunters like just stationed underneath this thing. Obviously there's jackals, and there's I think some brutes down there. There's other resistance, but the big thing is those hunters, and they're kind of tucked in, nestled in there. So the way that I went about this one is there's like a series of rocks on one side. So I found those rocks and just was like peppering all my grenades and and just kind of, hiding behind these things and launching everything over. I ended up killing one of them and doing enough damage to the other one before I was able to take them both out. And then I think I also just sniped. There are quite a few jackals scattered around, so I just sniped the jackals that were hiding around. There's a couple actually hidden down beneath. So they do a good job of providing some resistance before you can go up the grav lift. But you can tackle it pretty much any way. Krista, were you sniping, or did you kind of take this one head on?
This one is very convenient because they are posted up right by this like little cave. And the little cave is full of, fusion coils and rocket launchers. So I ran straight in there and grabbed that shit and just blew them up.
Oh, nice. So you had your back to the cave, and then we're killing them from inside the cave?
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good way to go. David, how about you?
Today I brought a rocket launcher with me, so I didn't have to do that. But that's pretty much what I always would do, because that's where there's loads of rocket launchers down the base. What did I do with this one today? Yeah, I took this one on my own today. I think it might have been the first one I did, actually, was come here. So there's like a little tunnel that you can kind of sneak up on the left to, which is pretty cool when you approach it. And there's like a sleeping grunt in there and a couple of jackals to take out. You can kind of get yourself up on the ridge up to the left of it, which is pretty cool. So I like to do that and to snipe out the smaller dudes. And then, as much as I can, lure out the hunters to where like all the big coils are and stuff like that, and use that to kind of take them out. And then I obviously chuck a ton of grenades and then make a dash for the rocket launcher most of the times.
Yeah,
they're cool. I like how beefy the hunters are, but they're not a lot of them in this game, and I appreciate that too. They're a difficult challenge that aren't overused, so they're good.
Yep, totally agree. Once you see them, you're like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah,
and they're bullet spongy, but it switches it up enough. Okay, so we go up inside the... Oh, so just a note really quickly, I guess, because I'm on Build with Blocks and then, have the Mega Constructs roots. So they did do a set for this. So there's an AA gun that you can buy. And it's a neat little set. It has... who is it? It's nobody in this mission. It's... it's Hyperius, yes. So I guess Hyperius is in this mission later on. So Hyperius comes with it, and then a chief and a couple other figures. But on the ends, so if you imagine the AA gun, there's like where the feet sit. There's like these tall little, I don't know, they look like more fusion coils or some sort of an energy coil. But on the set, you can like pop those things off, like it's a function of the set. Which I'm wondering, like earlier on, like an earlier build of this mission, maybe you had to, in order to destroy the A gun, you just had to pepper those things, kind of like those big towers that we have in the outposts, that pop out of the ground. So they like built that in, and maybe they decided to change how these encounters work. But it's just interesting to note that again, this Mega Construct sets you. There's literally like a little switch to flick, and then those things will pop off. But not so much in the finished game. So you go up the gravity lift on the inside, and the weapon, and Chief have a little bit of a dialogue. She figures out how she can disable it, and then before you actually disable it all the way, because she's able to open like a coil up in front of you, in front of this hollow table, which is really cool, by the way. This hollow table of the island that you're on. Then Escharum pops on. And this will be a theme throughout all three of these. Well, just two of them, actually. But Escharum pops on, and he talks shit to you. And it's they did change the dialogue from the demo, right?
Yeah,
like, I remember the demo dialogue is a little different.
Yeah, he just, like, name drops a little more. I mean, they just changed the dialogue so that it didn't reveal too much, but...
Yeah. So he talks about how the UNSC lost the war months ago, and, he goes on his rant, and he has this great cadence, people are broken, scattered, hunted, like he has all the, like I just want to listen to him talk. And
it's funny. He's totally trying to, it's like he's trying to hype you up to come fight him.
Like, yeah.
It's hilarious. Like he's just like a fight promoter. He's just like, come and get me.
Yeah, he really is. So he talks about how they're one step ahead and this and that, and then he drops about the Harbinger. So we've seen the Harbinger now. And then he mentions the Harbinger and that the Banished share the same goals. That was another thing in the demo. They were like, who is the Harbinger? All this other stuff. So we don't really necessarily, as a part of the story, know what those same goals are. We will find some audio. Actually, one of the audio logs that we find in this area does talk a little bit about that with Escharum and laying out what those are. So more or less, yeah, he's just saying, like, let's fight. You and me, it's gonna happen. Let's go. So then he goes away, and then this little coil thing in front of you, this little light switch in front of you, pops open, and then you can shoot that or bash it with your elbow, whatever you want, and then the AA gun will explode. If you do stay in too long, you will die with the explosion.
Oh,
FYI.
so you tested that?
I've tested that.
Cool.
Yes.
I was always curious.
I took a little too long once. I forget what exactly was happening. Oh, you know what it was? I guess I'll tell the story now. But in the next one, I was able to get a ghost up in there. Or actually, no, a ghost... What happened? I think a ghost followed me in. I think that's what it was. Like a grunt took a ghost in somehow, and so there was a ghost inside of it, and I was trying to get back into the ghost. I was expecting the ghost to be gone after the button was hit, or after I activated the explosion, but the ghost was still there, and so for whatever reason I struggled to get in fast enough, and then everything exploded and I died, which was unfortunate. But then it reset back and the ghost was still there, so I was able to have the ghost after the explosion. So yeah. Anyway, so top out, and then we're gonna go up to the northern gun after you blow this one up, and this one also has an elevator. And here, this is the point where I was decided to test my threat sensor a little bit, and I had powered my threat sensor all the way up, and the radius on this thing is giant now. So I peppered 2 of these things out there, and because there's lots of rocks and lots of places for the Banish to hide, but if you pop out 2 threat sensors, then you can almost see all of them, like everywhere they are, and it makes this encounter a lot easier. And again, that's just to get up the elevator. There is a ghost nearby. There's like a little ridge, or I guess a ledge, to the right of the elevator. There's a ghost just kind of parked over there, so you can go and grab that as well, and then head up into the elevator. And then I'm trying to think here. The rest of this area is pretty well defended overall. There's like a building off in the distance. There's a turret over there that doesn't want you to do what you need to do. There are lots of elites around, plenty of other grunts and jackals. So this one might have been one of the more difficult encounters for me. How did you take it, David?
I've done a few ways. I do like taking the ghost and bringing it up the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty fun. And then using the ghost around up there is pretty fun and kind of unique. This one, when you get to the top, I think doesn't that you kind of go. I think there's Marines here that you can rescue.
Not in this one. That's in the far west one.
Is it in the far west one? Okay. One of them has like Marines inside it and Marines up outside to the right. So like there's like 2 groups of Marines that you can rescue. So this is the other one then. I can't remember. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just brought the ghost up to it and just minced around there with different kind of dudes. Is this the one? Who do you fight underneath? You don't fight the hunter, so it's probably just a bunch of elites.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of dudes down underneath. Yeah. They're just kind of peppering you from all around.
Not particularly special in this one. Just use the ghost. I'm pretty sure I did today.
Yeah, Krista, what was your approach?
I just ran and gunned this one. There's a lot of like little buildings and stuff, so just kind of went in and out of those, grabbed the resources in them, and just shot people. I shot a lot of people.
The turret is always like a tempting option, but it usually doesn't work out. Like the shade turret, I mean.
Oh yeah,
I want to jump in that thing and just
die. Every time.
Everybody points their guns at you, and then doesn't.
I just threw a fusion coil at it.
Yeah, and then it's just gone.
Same.
And then it's just gone. So clear out this area, and then we do get another, go up the grav lift. I already told my story about the ghost. Then we do get another chat with Eshram. And let's see, what does he say? He says, how many Spartans remain? Do you even know? There would have been 50 at Laconia Station. Maybe more. Such a loss. So he's taunting you more. Have you guys looked into the Laconia Station stuff? What happened there?
Is this the one that maybe Cortana reveals a little more on later? Is that one?
It might be.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to say it more for now.
Yep. Yeah. Bad things happen there.
Yeah.
Then he says, "Do you feel it in your heart? Does it leave a hole?" It's so interesting because he's taunting, he's trying to rile up Chief, but Chief is so, traditionally so emotionless. Like he's over the last few games he has shown some more emotion, and then in this game he has shown some. There's we talked about like some tender moments with the other Marines or the Spartans that he's found. So there is a heart in his chest. It's just interesting how Atriox is trying to bring out that pride so fiercely, right?
Eshram.
Like Eshram. He's just really like getting him to rile up,
baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it is getting a little old, I feel like, at this point of the game too, though, because he's been doing it for so long. But it is what it is. I enjoy it overall, but it's at the same point. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna fight you later on. Let's go.
It's kind of hilarious, though. I mean, he's funny.
Yeah.
He's a real stand-up guy.
He is. He's a great orator. He is. He talks about Atrax a bit here, and talking about how he's his finest recruit, and then his sacrifice. So, kind of talking about how Atrax isn't around anymore, and that he mentions the hand of Atrax, and that talks about how they are Spartan killers, and they are coming for him. Uh-oh.
Well, my favorite part, Colin, is that he says, "Fight well," and then it's Spartan, and then he kind of cuts off, and the weapon immediately goes, "Thank you. What do we do now?" Like, she's just like totally politely, just like, "Okay, thank you. What do we do now?" I love it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we do the same thing that we did in the last one, and we blow up the little coil. Then we escape and jump out, and then at this point, we do get a little extra.
Ooh.
I believe. Isn't it at this point? Or is it the next one? Hold on a second. Yeah, that's number 2. Where's number 3 from my notes? Yeah, we do get a little extra here. Okay. So at this point, we get on the comms. We get who pops in? So the weapon says, "Chief, we're being contacted on UNSC channels. Comm signature belongs to a Spartan, Theodore Sorrell, which we found a couple missions ago." And he goes, "Put him through," and then you don't know who it is unless you have the, on-screen dialogue. But it's Hyperius. And Hyperius says, Spartan, I know you can hear me. Will you die with honor?" And then he says, "I doubt it. You are human, weak, pathetic. I will crack your armor, peel you from your shell. It will not be my first Spartan blood, but it will be the sweetest." So as we talked in the couple missions ago, was it Conservatory, I think, where we find Sorrel? And so Hyperius is the one that killed Sorrel, and he took this comms from him. So now he's able to communicate with Chief. And so they're actually, so it's interesting though, is that, are they listening to us the whole way? Or maybe they can just talk to us one way. I don't know.
They know where we are. I mean,
yeah, I don't think they're listening because it was the weapon who kind of identified this. So I'm sure she could like switch it off if she wanted to or whatever.
Yeah. So then we still go ahead.
I like how every time someone's really mean to Chief, the weapon's just like, "Oh wow, he really doesn't like you. Okay, that's nice."
Yep. Then we head towards the third AA gun, and so at this point you're kind of in the northern side of the landmass, and there is a cool it's a cool little mountainous area. And you can find, I know we'll talk about it will we talk about it in the Easter eggs? No, we probably won't. On the top of this mountain, I believe, was it the Arbiter up there? The little plushie doll?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, which one is it? Arbiter doll, yeah. I remember finding that. That was the first one that I found when I played the game originally. I was like, oh, this is cool. Doesn't do anything, but it's cool.
Not even an achievement. Like, come on, give me an achievement.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick it up like a fusion coil and throw it, and then it make
that
little squeaky
cool.
noises.
Yeah, right.
So you throw it at a brute, and it just makes a squeak noise and falls off him.
Yeah, something like that would have been good. There are 5. I guess we'll mention them because we don't have a separate episode for Easter eggs on this. But there is the Arbiter doll. There's a red versus blue Easter egg, which is kind of weird. It's near the last AA gun. And I didn't go find it. I'm just on one of these interactive maps. But it looks like it is a picture of a grunt in red and a dead Marine in blue. Kind of in, I don't know, a little hole. So I don't know if that is a red versus blue specific, encounter, or if it's just, the red and the blue. There is a Sergeant Johnson doll as well, kind of in the middle of the map. There's the Craig photo I mentioned, and then there's one more on the west side, which is where we're going. There's a grunt doll on a little ledge. So we do find the grunt doll. He's cute. Cute little grunty boy. That's one plushie I really actually do want. As I have a Chief plushie, but I want a grunt plushie. Somebody give me a grunt plushie.
I have a sticky grenade plushie, so I get to chuck it at people. It's great.
That's perfect.
That's really good. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to be one of those, the Nerf balls that has, the Velcro on it, that you have the other end, because said you could stick it to somebody. That's what you need.
That would be amazing.
All right, so we'll travel to the AA gun on the west side of the map, and there's a Atriox tower here, propaganda tower, kind of on the way. So there's that, and then there's an actual propaganda tower that you can shoot, and then again I mentioned the doll at the top of this mountain here, and so you wind your way around, and then here's where there's a couple Marines, so you can get a couple Marines on your squad. As you're heading down to this last AA gun, I guess you would if you did this AA gun first, you probably wouldn't get these Marines until you head to the one we just did. So grab them; they come in handy. Give them some power weapons, and then head down to this last AA gun. And this is the demo fight. So this is one that most people are familiar with. So if you saw the demo, there's a shade turret kind of right in the middle, and there's a bunch of elites around. There's a couple there's a little bit of everything down here. So I'm trying to think. The way that I went about it is I kind of snuck around a little bit. I had a rocket launcher that I had picked up, and I had my Marines with me, and I was trying to let them do a little bit of work. The grav lift is already on, by the way, so you could just run in, and that's something I didn't mention. The last two AA guns, you do have to hit a button in order to activate the grav lift, but this one it's already there. You don't have to do anything. So you could just run into the grav lift, I guess. You might get chased by some grunts or something like that, but you could just hop in and destroy it. But yeah, I think I just tried to sneak around a little bit, tried to throw some rocket launchers at some of the banished below, and just kind of slowly took everything out. I don't know, David, did you do anything special on this last one?
But because I was doing it in the order that was wrong for me, I came at it from the mountaintop. So when you come around there's two Marines that you can rescue, like you mentioned, and a couple of dudes. So I rescued them, gave them some power weapons. The Marines are really good with not the plasma. What am I thinking of? The Ravager. They're really good with it. So I gave one a Ravager. I think one had the rocket launcher. I had it with me, so I just gave it to him. They came with me the whole way. They were great. So you kind of come down, you're fighting like a gold elite, I think, and then you fight like a bunch of grunts and stuff like that when you come in through the side. So there is a lift that you don't have to take when you come that way, but there are more Marines down at the base if you want to bring them. The only thing is Marines won't go on the lifts, which is very annoying.
Yeah. Right.
So unless you had a Warhog to bring them in, they just won't come. So I kind of freed those, and then there's another two Marines in the back of the kind of, let's say, the mid area. So I rescued them, killed all those dudes, fully equip those Marines, and then you have to kind of go into the building and up through it to get these two little bridges that lead you across to the turret. And that's a great little fight. I love that little sequence fighting up here. I had all my Marines. It was so chaotic. It was awesome. It was a cool battle. I think there's brutes in here with rocket launchers. There's at least one, I think, because I remember getting hit by one at one stage that actually killed me today. So that was kind of fun. That's kind of what I did. I just fought with my Marines, had a great time, just like a nice little battle here with my bros. And just took everybody out eventually, which is pretty cool, with a cool little Marine fight.
The elevators are cool. So on this one and then the other one, like when you go up the elevator and kind of stop at the top, the platforms, they're well defended. There's lots, to hide behind, lots of weapons.
I appreciate that they're large enough to take vehicles on. Like you can take Warhogs up there, you can take up Ghosts. I appreciate that a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah. Krista, thoughts on this last one?
It's good. I definitely didn't do it as thought out as David. I just kind of went up the lift and killed everyone. Yeah, I didn't. I saved the Marines, some of them, the ones at the lift, because
don't tell a lie, Krista.
Screaming.
Save the Marines.
I saved them because they wouldn't stop screaming. So I was just like, okay, well, if it gets you to shut up. And then I went up the lift.
Yep. Nice. So this time we go inside, and does the weapon say, like she says, oh, we're probably going to hear from Eshram again, and then it doesn't pop on, which is a little bit of a twist, I guess.
And then she's like, fun. Oh, I miss.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Like, oh, that's disappointing. So we don't hear from him, but we do blow it up, and then we hop out. And then we see this, and I don't know if the Phantom that, like, well, at least I saw a Phantom go by immediately.
There is
Does
a
the
Phantom.
Phantom
Yeah.
have the bosses in
I
it?
think that's
Like,
I think that's what's implied, that they're dropping in to deal with you here now.
yeah, like they're tracking him. They're like they know what he's up to, and now the Spartan killer is gonna come and kill the Spartan, or we're gonna kill them. So they are now Tavares and Hyperius, who again we were teased these dudes at some point before the game came out, and we got like some cool art of them. Hyperius again has a Mega Construx figure that we've had for a while. On his shoulder, this is the famous shoulder of Spartan Locke, his helmet, the hunter helmet. And we don't know if that is his helmet or not still. It's still TBD. So, and you do get to see that. So you get to see that on the little minifigure, and I think it's on, there's like a jazz where it's like a bigger figure. And then once we're done with this fight, you can like look at his body, and yep, that looks a lot like Locke's helmet there. So
I've never done
anyway,
that.
Maybe they will play
Thank
with
God
that.
he saved the Halo universe by getting rid of that shit character.
We'll see. We'll see. TBD whether or not he's around or not. But Hyperius has a helmet on his shoulder that looks very much like Jameson Locke's. Krista, why don't you take us through this fight? The dudes are in the middle, and then one of them Hyperius has a chopper. It's like a fancier chopper than what we've seen. And then Tavares has a scrap cannon, I believe. And he just kind of peppers you from the distance. And they're both in the middle, and it's a little bit of a challenge, I would say. It's fairly interesting.
So, the nice thing, I always go for Hyperius first. I think most people do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Hyperius is really nice because you can lure him pretty far away from Tavares.
Mm-hmm.
So you can lure him behind a bunch of wreckage and stuff that isn't far from him. So it's not out of Hyperius's range, but Tavares
like in
can't...
his chopper, right?
Yeah. Tavares can't pepper you. And once you get him there, you steal his chopper and, use it as long as you can, because when he's in the chopper, it can last for 40 minutes, but when I'm in the chopper, it lasts 40 seconds. So,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you use the chopper, you can get a really good chunk of his health down through that, and then obviously when the chopper explodes, his shields are still down, so you can kind of pepper him from there. What did I have? I think I just had an assault rifle at this point. I had an assault rifle and a disruptor, so I just killed him with an assault rifle, and then I think I picked up a longer range weapon like a commando or something for Hyperius. But once Hyperius is dead, Tavares is like, all right, I'm gonna jump now. So he starts jumping all over the place.
Yeah, he does.
I love the scrap cannons, by the way. I hate when they're used against me, but oh my gosh, they're so much fun. But yeah, he just starts jumping all over the place like some kind of weirdo. So, I had the disruptor, so I used that to get his shields down, which is pretty easy. And then, just peppered him here and there, ducked for cover. He always somehow appeared right behind me. Not sure how he did that, but... But yeah, you just kind of, the nice thing is...
There's annoying guys at the bottom, too. Like, I found there's like a skewer brute that you got to take out, otherwise he's going to knock you out. There's a couple other guys, there's some grunts. Like, there's enough of, reinforcements around that if you don't take them out, they'll just be annoying enough to take you down.
Yeah, and I always take the ads out. I did take the skewer and hit Tavares a couple times with that as well.
Nice.
But at the base of his little tower, once Tavares moves, there's just a shit ton of UNSC weapons.
Yeah.
So if you're running low on ammo, go there. There's everything there. So yeah, he just kind of jumps around like a weirdo, and you just kind of pepper him until he just dies. It's great. It's a fun fight. I like it. I like having the guy up top and the guy on the ground, and kind of just the dichotomy of that. But it's a cool fight. Obviously, when you have an enemy in a vehicle, you just capture the vehicle every single time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, with the grapple shot, it makes it so easy.
Yeah.
And I feel like my video game sensibilities kicked in here. It's like, oh, there's two bosses. So in order to kill two bosses at the same time, I need to separate them. So like that strategy like just clicked with me right away. Whereas if you don't do that, I guess you probably don't have to do that, but they could have made the AI a lot harder here too,
Oh
right?
yeah.
They could have had them like always nearby each other, and that would have made it very, very frustrating. How was it on Legendary, David? Did you get to this point on Legendary?
Yeah, it's a balls. Having said that, now I was ready for it. So I had
Yeah.
heavy weapons. There's rocket launchers and hydras around here. You really have to focus on one of them. Lots of electric grenades, take down the shields immediately, stun those
Mhm.
vehicles. I did a bunch of it from a distance, so a bit of sniping. Where he's jumping around on top, there's loads of coils. So like if you time it right, you can detonate like a whole tower, and he's on it, and that totally wipes him out. So that's actually pretty easy if you get it that way. I also tend to do it with a bunch of Marines. Give them weapons, bring them with
Oh yeah.
me. If you bring in, you can grab a Warthog, stick a guy with a rocket launcher on it, and just fucking wipe out Hyperius. Like, take out that
Oh.
fucking front chopper. Like, it's actually not the most difficult one. And because it's a big open area with lots of weapons, you can just run away. Do you know what I mean? If you're getting
Yeah.
like overwhelmed. So it's not like a proper boss battle. So it's easy to kind of run away and come back and regroup and stuff like that. So it's not
Good
too
point.
difficult on Legendary.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, it's just a good the setting that Chris had described before. It's like this graveyard, which is cool setting to have this giant fight. And you can lots of nooks and crannies to go and hide and regroup and all that sort of stuff. So overall, like it is a cool fight. Not as difficult maybe as they could have made it for us, which is nice, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fun setting. It's one of those things too. I think we've complained about. It's like, oh, here's two more really cool banished characters that we just kill right away. There's like one or two lines of dialogue from Hyperius, and that's it.
Yeah, very little build up. This is the hand, and it's like, oh, the hands, right? Can I do? Oh, like instantly dead. It's like great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, exactly.
And like
I-
they don't
good.
really link it back very well to the fact that this is the guy who beat the shit out of Sorrel. Do you know what I mean? Like Chief was pissed
Mhm.
off at the beginning, the initial phase of like discovering that Spartan, talking about the fact that a brute beat the crap out of him. You killed two brutes, and she's like, "Is that it?" And like, no, they're still at large. So it kind of felt like they were trying to build up to something, but I don't think it connected really well.
Yeah.
Especially with like there can be a significant period of time between those two missions, if you're me.
Right.
So I think
Yep.
they could have done a better job. I think I'll bring it back.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to the audio logs are a great idea, but just a little bit of video or a little bit better job of connecting all that stuff that they're telling in the audio with the what's
Yeah.
going on screen would have helped hammer that home. But if you are really paying attention and all that sort of stuff, I'm sure it'll click with you, and it was a more meaningful moment. But otherwise, it's just like, oh, okay, cool. This guy's talking to me on some comms that he found. No, he's talking to me on the comms that he found because he killed the guy that you just found in the previous mission.
Yeah. True.
Okay, so we are essentially done with the fighting part of it. I think maybe you'll find some banished scattered throughout the area after this if you want to go clean up and find some stuff. But the last thing that we need to do now is we need to go find the pilot because he's no longer in the Pelican. He went and hid somewhere because he's a coward. No, he just wants to go home, and he's not a Spartan, so he wisely went and hid somewhere. So you got to go find him. And we got to go have a little chat with him. Let's see, is there anything else that happens before then? No, I
You
think
can
we
run
just gotta
around
go
if
have
you
chat.
want to, but
Yeah. Oh, I did want to tell a little bit about my story. My story was similar to Chris's. I went and stole the chopper and killed Hyperius fairly quickly. I had a gravity hammer with me, so I kicked him off of the chopper, destroyed the chopper. Well, he destroyed the chopper, and then I did my grapple shot to him with my gravity hammer and just like bashed him with that, and he died, which was pretty neat.
Nice.
And then after that, let's see here. I still had the gravity hammer for Tavares, but I had to shoot him from a little far away, and I had to work my way up to get close to him, and then I used the gravity hammer to kill him. This is just the last time, right? I just figured I wanted to see if that strategy worked, and it did. A couple grav hammer shots, and they both die. They both go squish. Okay, so now we got to go find the pilot, and the pilot isn't in the Pelican. He's up on the ridge. It's really close, but he's up on the ridge a little bit, and we got to go have a little chat with him. David, do you want to talk us through this?
Yeah, this is probably one of the most interesting sequences in the game, I think. And also, I like how good it is for like what it sets up, but like I feel like they never come back to it, and I kind of really wanted them to. So this is the pilot having his absolute weakest moment, absolute breakdown. He's giving out the chief. He's like, 3 condors. It's hard to find one, but we found 3. Do you know how hard that is? And then all of them are just scrap. And like, I don't know why he's so disappointed. I think it was really fucking obvious that none of these fucking condors were going anywhere. They are literally pieces. So I'm not really sure. But anyway.
Well, I think he wanted a slip space drive from him so that they could get the hell out.
He did, yeah. But like, I don't know. They look like bits. I mean, so the Banished seemed clever enough to not leave like a slip space drive in a ship, just sitting in a graveyard. Like,
sure.
I feel like they would be one of the key pieces of technology you'd go and scavenge. So anyhow, he's freaking out. He's saying it's all useless. It's all fucking useless. I'm not supposed to be here. I belong in there. I.e. like a piece of worthless junk. I should be dead. And then he kind of explains that he's not even a soldier. He stole. He's not even a pilot. He stole the Pelican. And when that happened, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is interesting. Now this character makes sense. Why he's so whiny. Why he's so ill-disciplined. He's not a soldier.
Right.
And there's a conversation later. I think it's actually during gameplay.
Yeah.
Where the weapon asks him, like, who are you? And he's like, what's your job? He's like, oh, he's a civilian engineer. He was a volunteer. Right. He just wanted to help.
Exactly.
And that's really cool. I like that. And then he just explains that when Chief died, he just like, oh, fuck, we're done. He just legged it off the Infinity and just like, okay, here's a Pelican. I'm grabbing this. I'm out of here. And that's kind of what he did. I like that as an origin story. That's really interesting. Anyway, it doesn't make sense anyway here and in this area. I don't think. Ask him his fucking name. Why is that like a reveal? Like that should be here and now. There should be more of the backstory, more of who he is. Chief doesn't really seem to care, like that he's not a soldier. I think Chief, which is kind of cool in some ways. I kind of like that. The Chief's just like, I'm not bothered. You're human. You're on my side. You're part of this. You're my pilot, even if you're not a pilot. So he's kind of like, you don't understand what it's like to be scared, like to be actually scared because you're a chief, you're perfect or whatever. And then he kind of, Chief comes down and kind of like, he like collapses on his knees. He's just at his lowest point, and Chief comes down and like takes a knee beside him. And he's kind of like, I'm worthless. I'm a piece of garbage. And this is a great moment by Chief. I think this is really, really great. I also love like when he takes his knee, there's a solid thump and the screen shakes a little bit because he's so. Yeah. I love that. That's just a small detail. It's awesome. This is cool, and I think this would be like a kind of almost a helmet reveal moment in another kind of area. I mean, this would be like, oh, I could take my helmet off and talk to this guy as a human. But he asked him like, Chief, have you ever failed? And Chief is like, yeah, pretty much like, I should have protected Cortana. I should have stopped everything from going wrong. Chief looks at like everything around him as being his fault because he failed Cortana. And he says, I won't fail you. I like that. And like the weapon pops up here and then like it's a nice moment between the 3 characters. And I wish from here there was like more build up with these 3 being like, this is the beginnings of the team. Do you know what I mean? Like this is Chief's new team. But it doesn't go anywhere from there. I mean, it's kind of like Chief is like, the only way home is to go through the Banished, and the weapon's like, we need you. And it's like, okay, Chief is like, we can fix this. We don't have anything, but we can do it together. This is the weapon. It's like, we can do it together. We don't need a lot. We just need us. Which is a good moment. This is a good, like, fuck it. Do you know what I mean? We're all that's left, but we're all that we need. Do you know what I mean? You can just fly any broken Pelican, which is fantastic. So, you know what I mean? This is great. And
real quick tangent here. Sorry. So Chief blames himself for not being able to protect Cortana or fix Cortana or save everything.
Yeah.
Do you guys think, like, based off of all of the games and everything else we know, did he even have a chance to save Cortana? You know what I mean?
I think like, it's not really. But
I don't think he was ever in a position where he could have actually done what he wanted to do.
No, but like, I mean, this is from Halo 4, really, essentially. Do you know what I mean? Where he feels like, do you know what I mean? it's a case of like the whole point of what he was trying to do from the beginning of like Halo 4, realizing that she was freaking out, was like, we need to get you home. You know what I mean? We need to get you home. We can get you fixed. Halsey will know that's our objective. And he doesn't do that. He veers off. He goes after the Didact. That's that whole storyline. And then there's...
But he had to, right? Like he had to stop the Didact.
I guess so. But that's, you know, I guess that's kind of, she feels the guilt of like prioritizing the mission and the world and people over his friend and his... Do you know what I mean?
But he had to stop he had to stop the Didact, and instead of like being able to save Cortana saved him, and maybe we talked about that at that point. But that's, I don't know.
And he's also so close. He was at Earth.
Yeah.
And also like the real catalyst to all this Cortana stuff was all the way back in Halo CE when he put her into the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the beginning of her end. We don't really realize at the time, and then there's also the fact that he left her behind. The whole grave mind torture, like that's all probably still weighing on him, and then the fact that he couldn't get to her in Halo 5, and that like that whole story was weird enough anyway. But obviously there was an element of, could Chief get to her and maybe not prevent the whole created situation? Do you know what I mean? He probably feels very much guilt on that as well. So there, I think that's where it's all coming down. I kind of like it, but you have to know all that. Like, I just told you a lot of stuff that's based over, like, 20 years of games. Do you know what I mean? And books and shit. Do you know what I mean? So, like, it's... I like that they hint at it. They don't go in too deep. But I wish there was more after this. Do you know what I mean? Because straight away, the pilot's immediately on your side. And now he's happy pilot. And do you know what I mean? And that's it. So I kind of felt there should have been a couple of more steps to get him there.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, my existential crisis is over. Let's go.
So, yeah.
And then we have a little conversation. So after that happens, we have a little conversation with the Harbinger in Escharum. Let's see here. What's that dialogue? They go back and forth a bit. They're looking at he's looking at the holotable, and she's floating around in her little hologram. And she's more or less, they're talking about this last spire. And
I love that they're like,
him to protect it.
The hologram starts with like a bunch of dead brutes. And the Harbinger's like, you're losing control. Do you know what I mean? And she's like, send in everybody. Everybody should go in. Send in the whole army against Chief. Iman's like, odds will not break him. And I was like, yeah, fuck that. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I love that that's where he looks at Chief as well. And also I feel like he doesn't want that because he wants to fight Chief himself. He doesn't want nobody taking him out. Which I think is pretty cool.
Yep. And then they're just talking about protecting this spire, more or less saying what we've figured out in one of the last missions was that there's the command spire, so protect this one because the Harbinger is wanting to, you know, move forward with the Reformation. Escharum hits a button, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch of reinforcements around the spire.
Escharum plays Halo Wars. That's what he does. He's just playing Halo Wars on the map, sending some troops and units down to build a base.
And then in the very end of this scene, they just talk shit to each other.
Yeah.
Escharum says, Atriox believed you to be valuable. Prove him correct. And then she says, when the Endless are found, and when you have your ring, then you will never question my worth, and I will never question your judgment.
Oof.
Yeah.
I also
That's
love
a
how...
good line.
Yeah, I love how like he's behind her, like about to freak out and lay into her, and then she just like cuts him off, and she disappears, and he just goes into a coughing fit.
Yeah,
and then and that's cool. And then like the rest of the sequence is kind of interesting. Where he's like, "Bring me Chief alive." You have him and his buddy,
Jaga.
Fuck you, Jaga, you suck. And then he's kind of like, "Just get me Chief." It's cool.
Yeah. There you go. And then we go back to Chief, and in order to advance to the next mission, you need to hop in the back of the Pelican, or you could go and explore and do things. If you do go and explore and do things, some of the things that you will find are the audio logs, which we do want to cover here real quick. Actually, before we do that, let's rate this mission quick. Krista, how you feeling?
I love this mission. This mission's like a 9 for me.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I'm up very high. I'm 9.
9-ish? 9 as well?
I'm 9.
Okay. All right, let's go 9s around. I'm happy with that. It's a fun fight. Lots of stuff to do. It's wide open. It's not the corridor shooter, that we've come off of with the conservatory. It felt very Halo, like you said. Lots of toys. Yeah, I'm good with that. 9 it is.
All right.
9 across the board. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if you've done everything with, every big mission unlocks a level of valor. It's like 300, 350 valor also. So at the end of this mission, because I had done everything, I unlocked the Wasp.
Same.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it today as well after this mission.
Mm-hmm. Which is like, oh shit, because that comes in super handy in the next section that we go
And I feel
to.
like, I know we kind of, I'd mentioned before about, it doesn't really make sense why the Wasp is here and not at the end, that the Rapahog is at the end. But that's really good if you've done everything and you think about it, you've just taken out the AA guns and now you have a Wasp. That totally makes sense. So it makes sense, and I only really thought of that today. So it kind of does make sense that the Wasp is where it is in terms of Valor, and that they give it to you here.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have the Wasp beforehand because you get shot down right away.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Like in lore, right?
Yeah.
Okie dokes. Let us do these audio logs. And there's Spartan audio logs. There are 5 of them. There are from 2 stories. So there's Reverie number 2, and then there's Retaliation. So again, these are the Spartan audio logs. So Reverie 2, and then Retaliation 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I just want to play all of them together, and then we'll talk about them afterwards. Because it's interesting, and I know we've already done podcasts on Podcast Evolved talking about these, but we'll go into just a little more discussion on that, and then move on to the banished chunk. There are 3 Eshram logs. We'll just talk about those all together in one chunk. So here you go.
So, is it true? Report?
Yes. The Banished are deploying resource harvesters. And...
Never mind that. Did you pull an entire lifeboat out of one of the breaches in the ring?
I ordered the squad inside to take shelter from the explosion. I wasn't gonna let them die in it.
Fine work, Stone. Day 1 was dicey for all of us. We're still trying to figure out what happened. I'm glad you kept a cool head.
I lent a hand this time. I'm sure they'll have my back next.
If their reports are any indication, those Marines will follow you anywhere. If we're gonna take this ring back, we need everyone working together. Killing Escharum is the only viable option we have. A power vacuum like that would destabilize the Banished and win us the footing we need to hold out until help arrives. I need volunteers, and I know I'll have no shortage of them. We all want a part of this. But we can't all go and leave Reverie undefended. So we're doing this the old-fashioned way.
Drawing straws. Are you kidding, Griffin?
No, I'm not. This is the plan. A single strike team deep in Banished territory. Agile, quiet, on foot. It's the only way it's gonna work. This might be a one-way trip. So we need people to stay. Or there won't be anything left to protect. It's not up for debate. Panago, Malik, Sarkar, and me. That's the roster.
For an assassination op? Decided by drawing straws. No, Griffin. We need you here at the Reverie. The Marines need a leader. We all do.
The decision's made. We're gonna get this done now. Take out Escharum and take control of this ring. And you're right, the Marines need a leader. That's why you're staying here, to lead in my absence.
I can't do
You can and you will. I know you will. No matter what happens. Spartans, if anybody can hear me, I'm proceeding. We've come too far to turn back.
You're correct, Spartan. There is no turning back. Do you take me for a fool? That I would leave my own home as unprotected as you have yours? You overreach. You and your friends. What remains of them will make adequate trophies.
You sick...
I spared them this, but I will not spare you. As you and your Spartans approached my citadel, I ordered the destruction of your people and that battered ship. Your home upon this ring will soon be but ashes. And not even a whisper of your kind will remain on this ring.
This is Griffin, to FFG 525. Reverie, do you read me?
Griffin, you are badly injured, and your armor's medical systems are offline. Seek medical attention immediately.
Open up a one-way encryption channel to Reverie's upspin transmitter.
Encrypted one-way transmission confirmed. Record when ready.
The mission was a failure. Escharum was waiting for us the whole time. Malik, Panago, Sarkar. All gone. Listen to me, Reverie. Escharum has dispatched almost every soldier and asset they have available. Their goal is... We have only one objective now. It is not victory, it is not extraction, it is not even survival. We must deny the banished this ring, no matter what it costs us.
Okay, so lots of stuff here. A lot of like backstory, but interesting backstory. We'll probably get more of this information given to us, or at least more depth in the book that is upcoming.
Rubicon Protocol?
Yeah, there you go. Rubicon Protocol. So the first one is Debrief, and it's the second log from the Reverie storyline, and it just it's Griffin and Bonita Stone talking about how they're finding out what's going on with the Banished. Let's see, the date is December 18th, so it's still soon after all the stuff happened with Chief getting his butt kicked and he's gone and all that stuff. So they're trying to figure out what's going on still, and then they describe a story where Bonita Stone saved a whole lifeboat of Marines by herself, which is pretty rad.
It's really cool. It's a cool story. She's a really cool character, and I really like how they set her up. But I want to know more of her, and it's kind of a shame that we already know that she's gone. But it's cool.
Yeah,
it's a cool one as well. It's a cool kind of hint as well, Griffin kind of says, those Marines will follow you anywhere and do anything. I like the idea of, because that's just me, do you know what I mean? I'm like, hell yeah, man. I got me and my dudes, my Marines. I like the idea that, a Spartan has, a group of Marines that just love her and will do stuff with her.
Because they saved, cool. Yeah, Simps. She saved them. Right.
I wasn't going to say it, Krista.
Okay, and now Retaliation. So we start this story arc on January 23rd, so a little ways after, about a month afterwards. And Griffin is deciding, he's the lead. Again, there's multiple Spartans from various fire teams, but these are kind of the remnants of who's left. And they're going to decide to draw straws. And one is going to stick around the Reverie and defend the Reverie, and then the other one is going to go and track down the Escharum and the Banished plans. So the other Spartans kind of talk shit and we're really drawing straws for this. And Griffin's like, yep, that's how we're going to do it. Here we go. He says a single strike team deep in Banished territory. And so that this is his plan. Then they eventually get to the point where they realize that the Banished know where they are, and they need to eventually abandon the Reverie, but most of the story is centered around Griffin and him being deep in territory and getting captured. So Escharum finds him, and he escapes a little bit, and then he's able to at least get one more one more comms out to his team that you will find in one of the next audio logs in this storyline. But he's more or less saying, "Yep, we're done for. We need to get out of here. We just need to do anything we can to survive at this point."
Yep, it's cool.
We fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said Malik, Panago, and Sarkar are all gone. So everybody got killed on his straw-drawn squad. Which is sad, but you know what? That's what's happened. That's why it's so barren here.
That's the Spartan life, man.
Yeah, that's right. Okie dokes. So good stuff, good background. Again, I would love some found footage, but
yeah,
the audio logs. All right. What else do we do on these episodes? do we do some community questions? I think we do.
We
do. Sometimes we do that.
Let's do those. Chris, you want to start?
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll start. All right. You need a pep talk. What does Master Chief tell you? Question for Mission Debrief. Halo Infinite. Pelican down mission. So Joe Mama says, "Sir, you need to stop masturbating or you'll go blind. Chief, I'm over here." Matt says, "Don't worry, son. You'll never be as awful as Joe Mama." So talking about the other guy.
Nice.
Toki says, "Chief pulls out a joint, rips it, passes it. See, time is just a construction of minds, Toki. I literally went back in time while going through slip space, so when you think you've been gone from your family for this long, but like, could you go back, you know?" Toki says, "How'd you hit this through your helmet?" Dezuto says, "See, there's 3 kinds of people. Dicks, pussies, and assholes. Pussies think everyone can get along. Dicks just want to fuck all the time without thinking it through. But then you got your assholes, and all the assholes want to do is shit all over everything. So, pussies may get mad at the dicks once in a while because pussies get fucked by the dicks, but dicks also fuck assholes. If they didn't fuck the assholes, you know what you'd get? You get your dick and pussy all covered in shit. So,
what's
perfect.
that from? That's from something.
It's from Team America.
It is from something, yeah.
Is it Team America?
Team America. It's very good. Showronery.
Now they're talking about how cool I am and how I don't get embarrassed about it, but how David is a wimp for avoiding Discord, so...
Yikes.
Yeah, you're
They're
getting...
not wrong.
People are talking shit about you here, David.
That's okay. I deserve it. Discord scares me.
Jedi Spartan 38 says, "I've been trained to do everything you do. I don't need you. I only keep you around so I can look more badass." That's great. I love that. That's very motivating.
Right.
Postman Pat just says, "This is the wrong parcel. Return to sender." I get paid to see Dad says, "Son, it's time I gave you the talk." That's the motivation.
That's scary.
Yeah. So that's about it. Thank you, Discord. You always provide endless entertainment.
Absolutely. David, what's Facebook have to say?
Facebook. We have Mr. Colin Perkins, March 23rd at 6:34 p.m. That's so long ago. "You need a pep talk. What does Master Chief tell you? Question Mission Debrief, Infinite Pelican down mission." And a lovely picture, Colin. Well done. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
And we got a good few answers today. So, Chris says, "Slurp it up, Buttercup." Justin, "When she says maybe we should see other people, trust me, she's already found one soldier." Dave says, "Montefuck, put your socks up, cop on, you big feckin' Egypt." I love it. That's some fine Irish talk. Alexander, "Pilot, I'm so sad and frustrated with myself. Chief, Pilot, you're right. It's my fault. I'm human. Let's get this bread." What's that from?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Luke Edwards says, "You need a weapon." Lucas, He sits down and just starts rambling off 80s action movies, quote, things like, ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah.
I eat green berets for breakfast and right now I'm very hungry. And, you're a disease and I'm the cure.
Love it.
That's pretty good. Brad says, it may seem bad now, but at least you didn't hop on the back of a van marked Oni because they said they had candy. That's pretty good. Dickie says, get good, scrub. Manny, need a boost? I have some octopoda soda. Methane infused for that boost you're going to need against that grunt goblin. Jimmy, chicken sandwiches are good. Eat one now. Garrett says, even though the odds are stacked against us, we must prevail and make you the next person to be considered hyper-lethal. Clyde, sitting next to burning debris. You got this, man. You just need to remember to keep the marshmallow down in the midst of the embers with a slow rotation so you can get that even golden brown. You already know that you're using a Reese's peanut butter cup is far superior to just a chocolate bar, so all that's left is the hand-eye coordination necessary to pull your perfect marshmallow off the stick with the graham cracker and peanut butter cup without assistance. Come on, third time's a charm.
What?
Some kind of Reese's peanut butter thing. I don't know. Some American yolk. Alan says, finally, stares at me for an uncomfortable number of seconds, puts his massive armored hand on my shoulder, and says, there. Thank you all, guys, very much.
All he has to say.
That's all he has to say.
Very nice. Thank you, as always, for all of your answers. That will do it for our debriefing of this. Oh, not the Spire. I didn't update the notes. That was the Pelican Down mission from Halo Infinite. On the next episode, we'll be debriefing the FOBs and outposts from the final open world area, Reformation. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Evolved on Patreon. For everything Evolved has to offer, visit evolvedhalo.com. Until next time, evolve.
Evolve!